guys, welcome back. In today's episode, as promised, I wanted to share with you 5 habits I want to take with me into 2018. This is in contrast to the video I did yesterday where I shared with you 5 habits that I felt like were kind of holding me back last year or really were causing damage over time. If you happen to miss that episode, I will link it in the description for you also, you can check it out. Thank you so much for your response on that. I know some of you really felt where I was coming from or recognized that you had similar bad habits kind of working their way into your life. So hopefully this video also helps you and we can kind of take the things that we learned in that video and turn them around a little bit to set us up for a good year. So the first habit I'd like to take with me into the new year, which I've already kind of been practicing, but I'd like to take it a step further, is journaling. So I've been bullet journaling for about the last year or so, and I incorporated that in my lifestyle, which I really like. But I would like to take it a step further and use it almost as like a therapeutic tool. The thing that I've really been liking about journaling and that I've found really helps me is kind of similar to the way that you would speak to a therapist, which is something else that I'm going to incorporate into the new year, is just the way that you can release all of those feelings and emotions or whatever is swimming around in your head onto paper and just get it out. Because a lot of times I find that when those thoughts are swimming around in your head, it's almost really hard to find a solution or understand why you're going through those feelings. So by getting them out on paper, you're almost able to see more clearly and to almost help yourself find your solution. It's also another way to track your progress because, you know, a week ago I might have been feeling one way, but then, you know, 2 or 3 days later, maybe even a week later, I feel completely different because I've been able to cope a little bit better and get those feelings out. I don't want to put too many rules on the whole journaling thing. Like, I don't want to say every morning I'm going to take 10 minutes and write down gratitudes, but I do feel like occasionally if I'm having a bad day, taking the time to just sit down and write a few things that I'm really thankful for and, you know, spin the negatives into positives in the morning to really set yourself up for a good day will be helpful. But then in addition to the days that maybe I'm not having the greatest time and I'm having trouble really getting out of a rut, I really do find that writing out all of the negative things that I'm feeling helps me kind of do some emotional problem solving and identify triggers that maybe have caused me to feel those ways. So journaling, I think, is a great thing to bring into the new year. Next, kind of in response to one of my bad habits that I talked about in my last video, is I would like to trade in some of that digital interaction for real FaceTime. This is gonna sound like a no-brainer to a lot of you, but when you work for yourself and you work from home and you're a homebody, and a lot of your friends are too, sometimes you have to remind yourself that real-time interaction and, you know, sitting across the table from each other rather than texting or, you know, interacting over social is incomparable. And if I'm being totally honest, I have a tendency to be kind of flaky, so I want to turn that around because it's not a reflection on how I actually feel about the people that I really enjoy spending time with. I want to make sure that I'm putting the effort in to show that I actually care about these people and that I want to see them, not only just my friends that I have locally, but the ones that I have out of town. I almost sometimes feel like when I am going back to see friends in New York that I'm a lot better about making sure I'm seeing those friends because I'm only there for a short amount of time. So I want to make sure that, you know, my friends that I have here, I'm seeing just as often, if not more, because, you know, they're here and I do enjoy spending time with them and I want to make those bonds stronger because those people genuinely mean a lot to me. So I want to make a point to be better about, you know, strengthening those relationships. My third habit that I want to take with me into the new year, which I think is really important for everybody, is to make sure that you're performing at least one act of self-care or self-love a day. And it doesn't have to be anything massive or huge. You don't have to take yourself on a date necessarily. But for me personally, like an example is that I really relax in a bath. So I am lucky enough to have a bathtub and I can light a candle and play a podcast or read a book, have a glass of wine, what have you, and that is really gonna relax me, and making sure that I carve out that time for myself, I think is really important. I think this is especially important for those of us who are used to caring for other people or realize that we tend to put other people's needs in front of ours. It's not about being selfish, because there's a difference between being like selfish and conceited and then taking care of yourself so that you are able to continue caring for other people and giving the best parts of you that you can to other people, rather than running yourself down and then trying to keep up and keep giving away everything, you know? So just remember to come back to yourself a little bit and give yourself just as much love as you're giving to other people. Something else that I'm trying to take with me into the new year is exploring new creative outlets. Ever since I was little, I've been artistic, I've had a creative eye, and I've always wanted to try and think outside the box. And as I've gotten older, I've found different ways to kind of let that creative energy flow. I mean, it's how I discovered that I really liked makeup artistry. It's how I discovered I really liked making content and creating videos. So it only seems natural that I continue to explore the creative side of me. And I've dabbled in a few things in the past that I've really become interested in and I'd like to explore further. There are things that I haven't tried yet that I would really like to try and do. So I think that that is one of the things that I'm most excited about in the next year or so, is exploring those different avenues and seeing what my mind can produce, I guess. And also exploring relationships with other people that are equally as creative to create new and different things that maybe are even better than I can even imagine. My fifth and final habit that I'm gonna share with you today that I'm taking with me into the new year is inspired a little bit from my best friend, and it's to remember to be present. It is so easy for us to get anxious about the things that we don't have yet, or think about the future and worry how we're gonna get there, or maybe look at the people around us and compare our lives to theirs, and maybe, you know, your friends are further along in a relationship, or maybe they are further along in a career and you think that you are being left behind. And how does that quote go? If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present. And obviously it's really hard to stay present all the time, and we can't not think about the future. But I think it's also important to remember or to learn how to take those moments when you're thinking about those things or when you're feeling anxious, recognizing that, and then being able to say, I'll worry about that later. In the sense of, you know, I'm not gonna let that affect me right now. I can only worry about the things I'm in control of right now in the present. I know it's really hard, especially for me, to remember that things will work out in time, that you just need to be patient and to not beat yourself up as you're going down this road to achieve the things that you want to achieve, because one day you're gonna get there and you're gonna be so happy and you will appreciate it so much more for taking the time to do it and achieve the things that you really wanted to achieve. So that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a fantastic holiday season. I know that these last couple days of the year are a little all over the place. You feel like you're in this limbo, but I'm really excited for the new year and I hope that you are too. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.